a stay-at-home dad, watching Disney movies he never had. His daughter digs through all the VHS, crushing the classics in a princess dress. Informed like Scuttle, Kurt's got your ticket, making it real like Jiminy Cricket. Most are off the Captain Hook, but if the Tweedledum, he'll be taking more shots than Bambi's mom. Leaves him raised like Simba, or cracked like the beast dishes. He'll show you a whole new world, you won't need 3 wishes. Stay at home, Disney Dad.
Our next Disney World trip is 2 weeks away, so we're handpicking some classics to watch to get us extra hyped. It's a rare week. We don't have this on VHS, we don't have it on DVD. We are over to Disney Plus for like maybe the 4th time in the history of this review show. Let's watch Brave today. We press play on Disney Plus. Disney and Pixar present Brave. This movie, beautiful right out of the gate. Shrek vibes. His mom is looking for her ginger daughter. Or is it my little girl? Little Merida wants to use her dad's giant bow and arrow, but he got her own little bow and arrow for her birthday, and dad is teaching her to shoot. Her arrow goes past the target deep into the woods, and she toddles into there to find it. She finds glowing blue objects in the forest, but runs back and tells her mom about the whips. Mom says, "Some say Will-o'-the-Wisp leads you to your fate, your twist of fate." Suddenly there's a giant bear. Run, Disney parents! Run, Disney parents! You're not gonna make it! You never make it. Brave title screen. We go forward in time. Dad lost his leg to the bear. That's it? These Disney parents got off easy. Merida is a princess now, but she's all rough around the edges. Her mom is in charge of every single thing, like every aspect of her daily life. Merida hates finishing school and hates learning to be a princess. She just wants to ride her horse and shoot stuff. And amen, sister. That's quite the red mop she's sporting as well. I love the dress though. Green, always been my favorite color. And this like shiny emerald green is the best green of all. She walks in on her parents eating supper, and dad is still telling the story of the bear attack where he lost his leg all these years later. That's funny. She has 3 younger sibling brothers, and she finishes dad's story for him, how the bear is still waiting in the forest for him. They get mail, and Merida was accepted, and now there's going to be a competition for suitors. Basically, a bunch of dudes are going to compete for her hand in marriage. Suitors. A funny word. Mom tells her a story about how an old king divided the land into 4 parts for each of his sons, but one kid got greedy and it all fell apart. We're told, quote, legends are lessons that ring with truth. Mom says, find your peace with this. The clans are sending their suitors to compete tomorrow. Mom says, it's not the end of the world. It's just marriage, and adults everywhere laugh. Merida swears to her horse, Angus, that this isn't gonna happen. Mom sees how truly miserable her daughter is and almost like has a moment with her, but then doesn't, and just says, remember to smile. We meet the 3 clans and their chosen suitors. Doesn't take long for this to break down, and the clans start brawling. Queen Mom finally comes, breaks everything up so it can finally start. The firstborn, only the firstborn can compete. And that term firstborn makes Merida lean forward. She must have found a loophole because she suddenly pivots and is like, yes, I get to choose. Let's go. Compete, my suitors. Compete for my hand. The suitors compete in a bunch of contests, and there it is. Merida stands up and says she's also the firstborn, and she's going to be competing to be her own suitor. She steps up to the archery and destroys the others, winning the competition. Then goes face to face with her mom. Then she hits bullseye, then splits the first arrow down the middle that's already in bullseye with the second arrow. Okay, first of all, awesome. Absolute badass. Second, being your own suitor is sometimes much easier. Mom gets in her grill later that night. She says, you are a princess and I expect you to act like one. And she throws Merida's bow in the fireplace. Harsh. Merida storms out. Mom realizes she's gone too far and she tries to pull the bow out of the fire. Merida runs out and rides Angus into the forest, and they end up at like Disney Stonehenge, and they find the blue whips again. She finds a door in the middle of the forest, and inside is a little shop and an old lady like sculptor. The woman shows her different carvings while her broom keeps sweeping in the background without her. Then there's a talking crow. Merida's like, you're a witch! She wants a carving and a spell and is willing to pay with her Merida necklace. She wants to change her fate. The witch says, you never conjure where you carve, and that's funny. I don't know why that's funny, but it is. So she takes Merida to a separate cottage, and she starts doing stuff in this cauldron, and she makes an evil quiche. So Merida just has to get her mom to eat this quiche, and she can expect changes by the fortnight. She also keeps talking about how she's done this before, and I can't tell if they're like referencing Princess and the Frog or Snow White or what's happening here. We jump forward in time. Merida apologizes and gives the peace quiche to her mom. Mom takes a little bite out of the quiche, and nothing seems to happen until she gets like immediate food poisoning. Suddenly, Mom pops up, and she's a bear that looks exactly like the bear that took Fergus's leg. Let me tell you, that's going to complicate things. One-legged Fergus smells the bear and he's on the hunt. Merida explains to her three brothers that a witch turned Mom into a bear and she needs her brother's help, but it's going to cost her dessert for a year. She agrees. They smuggle Bear Mom out of the castle. Like Mom, who is a bear, no, they sneak Bear Mom out of the castle, and like Mom, who's a bear, but also bear. It doesn't matter. Suddenly, the men walk by, and none of them have pants, speaking of bear, and I was like, what did I miss? And my daughter didn't know, and my son just happened to be walking by, and he's like, they all tied their kilts together so they could climb out of the side of the castle. And I suddenly remember the last time and only other time we watched this movie, and it was as a family when we went to Disney World November 2021, right after the pandemic. We still had to wear masks and all that, but one night, we just like left the parks early, bought treats, and all of us chilled on one bed in Riverside and watched this and Ratatouille. Good memories. I set up the phone and captured this amazing moment right here. Anyway, they find the witch's old cottage and it's abandoned and it looks like it's been vacant for years. Suddenly the cauldron comes to life and it's like an answering machine, but there's a second message just specifically for her. Remember, the curse will be permanent by the second nightfall. Fate be changed, make the change, look inside. A good old-fashioned riddle. It's night, and that's probably for the better, because you know she's ginger and they burn easily. Merida and Bear Mom try to figure out how to break the spell before the fortnight or whatever. Merida uses her bow and arrow to get fish for her mom and is like, a princess shouldn't have weapons, right? Like, suck it, Mom. Montage of Merida looking after her bear mom, and again, bear like she's a bear, not that she's bear, but she actually doesn't have clothes, so technically she's bear twice. Mom is slowly becoming more bear and less mom. They need to do something quick before Fortnite. Try a T-pose. Don't laugh at that. You're better than that. Also, before I even knew what Fortnite was, I legit thought all these kids were doing the like Razor Ramon, and that made me happy. Anyway, Mom chases the wisp. Then the wisps make a trail for them to follow. They end up in a burned and destroyed castle. She finds like a graveyard and realizes the spell has indeed happened before. The witch was referencing something that happened here. She reads that change is fate. She realizes the prince, it's the prince that broke off from the brothers all those years ago. In bear form, it shows up. All the dots are connected. Great fight and chase scene as Merida escapes and rides Mom away through the fog again. Great animation here. They break back into the castle. Earlier, she cut the tapestry and separated herself from her family, and I didn't think that was important. But now I think it is important because she and Mom Bear have to get back upstairs and fix the tapestry. Merida goes into the busy castle and starts telling everyone a story to distract the crowd as Mom tries to sneak by and get up the stairs. She tells a tale of how all the clans band together when they were threatened by invaders from the sea. She says she's been selfish and she tore a great rift in the kingdom. Merida is about to say she will go along with tradition and marry a suitor, but suddenly from across the room, her Mom Bear is like, and like sign language is no in bear sign language, that she should break tradition and write her own fate and fall in love and marry on her own terms. The suitors, all the sons, like breathe a sigh of relief and they agree because they didn't want to marry her anyway, and that was a nice moment. Throw the male characters a bone for once. Merida tells everyone to go back to go to the cellar and break out the king's fine wine to celebrate. The ladies go upstairs. They need a needle and thread to fix the tapestry, but Mom is becoming more bear and less Mom every second. Dad comes inside a room and sees Mom's ripped up dress from earlier and sees the bear and Merida, and he thinks that this bear killed his wife, but the bear is his wife, but he doesn't know that. He starts swinging, and Dad, this is intense, right? The other kings arrive and chase the bear out of the castle. Merida tries to explain to her dad, but he doesn't listen. He locks Merida up in the room as he goes to kill the bear, which is actually his wife. Dad gets everyone, and it's raining, and they must kill the beast. Merida's stuck in a room and cries about how they're going to murder Mom, but the three brothers also had a bite of the key, so now they are three bears, and they attack the guard lady and get the key so Merida can escape. I'm losing steam here, folks. They hunt the bear as Merida gets the needle and thread and starts to sew the tapestry. She escapes with the tapestry and her bear brothers. They all ride on Angus and they charge into the forest to save Bear Mom. The dogs and men have cornered Bear Mom and it looks like curtains. Merida sees more wisps and they show her a shortcut. And just as Dad is about to kill Mom in bear form, Merida shows up. and her dad and her have a sword fight, and then she cuts off his peg leg, and he just tips over like a bitch. Then Bad King Prince, original bear, Spell Bear, shows up, and Merida shoots him with an arrow, and it does nothing. And just as King Prince Bear is about to eat Merida, Mum Bear saves Merida, and it's bear versus bear, but Mum breaks part of Disney Stonehenge, and it falls on Bad Prince Bear and crushes him, and the ghost of the mean prince escapes and turns into a wisp. It's now the second sunrise, and Merida grabs the tapestry and puts it around Mum, and nothing happens. Mum accepts her fate as nothing happens. I don't understand, Merida cries and says it's all her fault. She did this to you and to us, and you've never given up on me, and I want you back, Mummy. This is a moment, though. I'm not doing this justice. This has weight. This is 10 out of 10 Disney right here. The sun shines on the tapestry, and Mum is Mum again. She has a streak of gray in her hair. The boys change back as well, and we ended beautiful visuals and a good closing song montage of everything being okay once again. We got a final monologue about fate as she rides her horse with her mom as glowing blue wisps look on. Absolute tour de force was Brave. This movie kicks ass in every sense of the word. Loved every frame of this. God, this is so good.
I think about.
What do you think?
What we have is a concern about Curtis Anderson. His interviewing style is not the best. His personal appearance is not the best. I was wondering if the man has some kind of a hold over the channel that he's allowed to be employed for so long with the standards of journalism and personal appearance that he has. Thank you.
Okay, Macy.
I'm still Jenny from the block.